You're finished. Give up now.
Fool! You know not of my secret weapon, Captain Lumberjack.
Secret weapon?
Yes! In truth, there are 5 other Captain Lumberjacks.
What?
Yes!
So what's your plan? Are you gonna send them all out to kill me or something?
No! I killed them!
Huh?
I shot them in the face!
So is this the end of the sketch?
Yeah, I guess so.
We stayed up all night trying to come up with an intelligently ironic video idea.
I'm sorry. You were my friend.
So was I.
That doesn't make any sense.
No! Wow, this video sucks.
Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Pleasantries. My guest today is Scott Steele. You might not know him as a bunch of stuff. And,
Scott Steele?
Yeah, Scott Steele in My Reality. And Jon Sprouse, you might not know him as the Gentleman or Hitler.
Every time I see that face, I'm just like Hitler.
We watched Captain America Civil War. What are your guys' general thoughts on this?
General thoughts?
Probably a better Avengers movie than Age of Ultron.
Even though this wasn't an Avengers movie.
It was, though.
Not.
It was. Oh, yeah.
I generally don't like watching the Captain America movies because I don't like Captain America that much. Like, he's fine.
I think the second Captain America movie is a much better just movie than the first one. Like, the first one seems really obligatory. Like, we have to introduce Captain America because we're going to make Avengers. Like, we just have to make this movie. That's how I felt when it came out. The second one is just, like, a good, like, spy action movie that doesn't necessarily have to be a Captain America movie. I don't think they needed to necessarily call it Captain America Civil War. It could have just been called, like, Civil War. Yeah. But then people would have been like, but what does it mean?
Yeah, putting it into like the Captain America bubble also hurts it a little
Yeah,
because while I was watching
associate
it, I forgot. I was like just watching this movie and then I went, oh yeah, so Captain America has to win somehow.
I mean, would you guys rate this as like the best Marvel movie that's happened so far?
It's definitely in the top like 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah.
Like ones that I would go back and watch multiple times. This one I'd watch Ant-Man multiple times probably. The first Iron Man's a good one, and the first Avengers probably. The rest of them are just kind of like, if I see them, it's because I'm rewatching all of them because the next Avengers movie is coming out, or I just I don't know what I'm gonna watch. I guess I'll watch the Hulk. Fuck it. Like, no one goes back and purposely watches the Incredible Hulk.
There's probably people who hate themselves.
Incredible Hulk had a nice tie-in with the Senator, what's-his-face.
Oh yeah. That
character carried over from 10 years ago.
Oh,
he
I
was
thought he
the
looked
general
familiar.
in the,
General in the Hulk movie. I have to compare this to Batman vs Superman. Did you see Batman vs Superman?
I have not, no.
Okay, neither of you have, but you already... They're both movies about this superhero versus this superhero. I think this one did a much better job of good reasons why they're angry at each other really early on.
Yeah.
And the rest of it's just kind of like, it just gets worse and worse.
The linear progression of the whole movie was pretty good.
Yeah, what you were talking about was like linearly, it works well in Civil War. Everything in Batman vs Superman is just a scene and then another scene and another scene. They barely have anything to do with each other. They're just showing like Batman do some stuff, Superman do some stuff, and then they eventually fight. This one was like every scene, like it led to the next scene. It had actually purpose. Just because I know DC stuff better, I don't compare any of these characters in these movies to like other versions of them from cartoons or comic books or anything. I just go like, this is what I know of these characters. So whatever these movies have presented to me about them is who they are. So I don't go like, Iron Man wouldn't do that or something, whereas Batman or Superman, I'm all like, that's what everyone analyzes the whole time.
Well, and we had Spider-Man introduced, which a lot of people I'm sure were worried about getting rid of.
Ooh!
Yeah, right.
Spider-Man! I thought he was going to be way less in the movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like just pretty much that fight scene, maybe a little more. And I was pleasurably surprised.
Pleasantries surprised.
His character was really great, I thought.
Yeah.
I was also a little worried about like him being like a little kid, like 15. I was like, what is he giving? But they did it really well. It's a really funny character that also wasn't like, ruining everything with his jokes.
Like all the Marvel movies have a certain like comedy tone to them where they're like, they take themselves really seriously, but then every 5 minutes there's a joke that's actually pretty like well timed and a good joke and stuff. Where like the Spider-Man jokes were maybe a little bit too much, just very slightly, was like, okay, yeah, Spider-Man, I got it. I do appreciate them making Spider-Man a very talkative, jokey character, because that's what he's supposed to be. And like, that's the only thing that I think that the Amazing Spider-Man movies did right. People say Batman has really rich like villains, like really colorful, memorable villains, and so does Spider-Man. And then like, which one is better? Batman will just sit there and just stare at them, and like the Joker's telling jokes, but he wouldn't say anything, and he'd just knock him out or whatever. If Spider-Man was fighting the Joker, he would just be like firing jokes back at him, and would just pissed off the Joker. Like, he would just be getting angry about like, no, this is my spotlight. Stop doing what you're doing. And all Spider-Man does is just be a jackass to his villains, and then like, no wonder they hate him. Yeah.
Spider-Man will return.
Spider-Man will return. Yeah, the guy walking out of the theater. Yeah, and then at the end it said he'll probably
be
come
in another
back.
movie.
No, it was very specific.
Tony pretty much just uses him.
Yeah.
Like, this is a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah,
that
Well,
you're-
I mean, he also does tell him to stop.
I thought that Spider-Man was going to switch teams because, like, he was going to switch to Captain America because he seemed kind of like geeking out about, oh, it's Captain America. Whoa, no way! I'm here with Captain America. You're done. Stop. And, no, I can keep going, and leaves. And I thought maybe he was going to show up later as like, well, fuck you. I'm going to be on Team Captain America. But I was glad that he didn't show up later because I was like, this isn't Spider-Man movie. I was really worried that Spider-Man was going to like steal the show, but I don't think he did. I thought it was a little cheesy when they're all just standing there in lines facing each other, and then they run at each other. Like, why? Why?
I thought it was really cheesy in the trailer. I was like, that looks really dumb.
Yeah.
In the movie, it was a little better because at least it kind of like came
They had
out.
already fought a little bit. Spider-Man was pretty much completely CGI the whole time. You see both sides, like the camera goes down both sides, and you see who's on there, and they're about to run at each other. And there's no Spider-Man in the trailers, and but he's in the movies. You can tell that like whenever they made the trailer, they just went and deleted his layer or whatever. And when they're running at each other, he's also like added back in running. It reminded me a lot of. People have done like fan trailers where they'll take like a clip of Spider-Man from one of his movies and put him in like an Avengers scene. Like there's the famous shot of where the camera's rotating around all the Avengers while they're standing and like cocking their stuff. Someone has added Spider-Man into that, like, oh, he's there, look, it's cool looking. And that's what it felt like to me in the scenes in the movie, is just that I'm watching like a fan version where they added Spider-Man in, because since I've seen the other one watching the trailer so much, now there's just suddenly Spider-Man in there. Like, where did that come from? And I like that they really obviously talk about how Aunt May is way too young to be way too young looking.
Yeah, there are some very meta moments, especially with Spider-Man, the Aunt May thing, and then even the physics of Captain America's shield.
I really wish that Hawkeye was not in this movie.
Yeah, no point.
No.
Because like,
no.
just that character in general.
I love Hawkeye. He's my favorite.
I find like huge flaws with him in the Avengers movie. Like in the first one, he was a stupid character. Like, it's like, what are you doing? Why are you fighting? And he's like, I gotta fight for this. Like, what about your family? He's like, whatever. And then he's like angry at Tony at the end. Like, you locked me up. It's like, it was a law written in. You left your family knowing that this was the consequence. And just that in general, everyone being angry that they got arrested. You knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
See, my view on this whole thing, as far as like the ideology goes, was like Tony Stark is wrong again.
And then I made Ultron, my bad, or something. And I was like, no, it's a little bit shittier than my bad. Like, Iron Man is on the side of the government. Like, yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, you did
You're
that
the
last
one who
time. Like,
did
you
this.
made the robots.
Also, I'm mostly talking about this specific situation.
Yeah,
I realize it probably sounded a lot like I'm like, people who get arrested are fucking assholes. They should deserve it. No, definitely not. But in this specific situation, it was like, hey, I'm telling you right now, if you go out as a superhero, we're going to arrest you.
Yeah.
And then they went, no.
But every superhero should be like that, because they kind of do it with Iron Man in the movies, where he says some sort of meeting where they're talking about like, you gotta stop doing what you're doing, and he's like, but I'm doing a lot of cool stuff and everyone loves me because I'm Robert Downey Jr. After they run at each other and they're full on fighting with each other, that whole fight sequence is actually really cool. Like, I think it's probably the coolest of any of them so far. You'll have like Captain America is fighting some aliens over here, Hulk's fighting some robots over here, and like this one was like everybody's doing a thing within like 10 or 15 feet of each other, and I thought that was pretty cool. But Vision is just not in most of the fights.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that, but like they all run at each other, including Vision, then they start punching each other, and there was like, I didn't notice it at first, but there's like a good 5 or 6 minutes of the fight scene there's no Vision, and then someone says something about like, you take this guy, I'll take Vision. And I'm like, wait a second, Vision hasn't been you haven't seen him fighting at all. He could have wiped out everybody in like 3 seconds, which is probably why they didn't show him.
The characters aren't balanced just by what their superpowers are, because whoever made up those powers wasn't thinking of an overall balance. And now they're kind of just screwed over a little bit. Like, Vision is way overpowered, so they can't do a lot of things with him.
Well, and that's the thing with the Spider-Man stuff, is that I feel like he was more of the glue of the whole thing. Because he like, everyone's fairly stays with the same person, it seems, throughout the whole thing. And then Spider-Man's the one who's going through all the different ones.
Yeah. Like, Iron Man and Captain America, obviously, are like, since they're like the main feud or whatever, they both have really opposing idealisms about what's supposed to be happening. Most of the other people are just like, I'm here with Iron Man, I'm here with Captain America. So when they're fighting, you're just, why are they fighting again? Kind of a thing. Especially Hawkeye and Black Widow are like, we're still friends, right? You're not invested enough in the fight that you're actually angry at each other. So you're just doing this because it looks cool.
Iron Patriot gets shot out of the sky.
He was Iron Patriot for like half an hour. Yeah, I thought he was gonna die. Like, they showed him in the trailer, so I thought like they showed that shot of him like holding his body. But I had kind of hoped that he was going to die. Not necessarily. I don't like or dislike his character. He could not be in it ever again, and I wouldn't care. But if he did die, it might have been even more of like a...
This is the severity of what we're doing.
But then that happened with Tony Stark's parents being killed by the Winter Soldier, which I thought was cool, because you didn't really see that coming.
I've heard most people were shocked by that, but I guess I just put that together.
I guess I'm just really surprised. Young Robert Downey Jr. in that, to me, reminded me a lot of Looper. Joseph Gordon-Levitt looks like current Bruce Willis younger, but he doesn't look like young Bruce Willis. Some body double with Robert Downey Jr.'s like CGI face attached to that guy's face, but it doesn't look like Robert Downey Jr. in the like 80s movies that he was in as like a early 20s guy. Totally. He just looks like a young now Robert Downey Jr. I was gonna say that the CGI in general, I thought in this movie was a little lackluster, and it might have been due to budget stuff because they have so many of the actors in this movie. Like, there was like a car commercial recently that has the scene of Black Panther chasing Winter Soldier through like the underpass or the tunnel. There were a couple shots where Captain America like tackles Black Panther and they like roll on the ground for a second, and then Black Panther like stops like this on the ground and faces him. It just looks weird. I don't know. And I was like, well, maybe this is just the car commercial version. This isn't really the version they have in the movie. But no, it's exactly the same in the movie. So I was like, oh.
This would be my philosophy, is that they're still trying to hold on to make it look a little comic booky, fake-ish.
It's a lot different from Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, those things where like those special effects I think are better done, but they're more like fantastical, where this is kind of more filming a thing happening, and it happens to be with all these superheroes there.
When the final battle's happening between Captain America and Iron Man, Stark has his mask off at the very end. He's like kind of just laying there, and then Captain America goes in for like almost the neck, but then hits his suit. Yeah. And for all the Iron Man, especially the first one, the arc reactor was like his heart and everything. Yeah. I'm like, is he dead or not?
Yeah. In the third Iron Man movie, at the very end, that gets fixed, and he doesn't need that to live anymore. It's just what powers the suit now. So that's, but yeah, I did have a few seconds of like, my brain knows that's what keeps him alive, and I go, oh, he's gonna die, and then I remember, oh no, he's not.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish that one of them died, because they're gonna keep making Avengers movies until the end of time. They're gonna either have to kill them off, or they're gonna have to retire or quit. So I thought maybe in this they were gonna kill one of the two main guys to help further that along, but then no one dies. Yeah.
I thought it was really weird that they didn't show the Winter Soldier's other superpower, the ability to do alchemy without a transmutation circle.
Yeah.
Everyone about the thing that happens in Age of Ultron. Yeah, this rubble fell in my house. You killed my family. Well, Ultron was going to do that anyway.
Crossbones was going to blow himself up amongst the crowd.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, either she moves him and he blows up that building, or he blows up the entire, like, town square that he's sitting in. Or
it seems like, I guess, the public and the superheroes aren't very logical ever.
The younger Carter, when he kisses her, the lady, like, 10 or 15 people behind us were like, ugh. Really? Like, why? What? Like, what's disgusting about this? Maybe that's why. Because he's 100 years old and she's like 20-something. At the end of Iron Man 3, he blows up all his suits and he's like, I'm never going to be Iron Man again. And then the end. And then in Age of Ultron, the next time we see him, he's just Iron Man again, and there's no explanation. So at least in this one, they had like 2 or 3 sentences where he says, like, I blew up my stuff, but then I was like, I can't stop. So I just kept doing it, and it pissed her off, so she left, and we're going through a breakup thing. And I was like, okay, you explained everything I had questions about really quickly, so that works. I'll give this movie like an 8 also. I gave Deadpool an 8, I'll give this movie an 8. I enjoyed it about the same. It's a completely different movie than Deadpool, but it's, I was entertained by the funny parts and entertained by the action, and Spider-Man was in it.
I think I'm gonna give it 7 and 15/16.
Okay.
Thanks. I thought it was well paced. I thought the humor was good. In fact, I enjoyed like all of it. I didn't think there was too much humor. I thought the characters were maybe a little too illogical, but that just kind of happens in general. Pretty good movie. I liked it.
I am going to give it a 9.
Ooh.
As far as the Marvel universe and that kind of genre, yeah, definitely a 9. Like in the cinematic world, yeah, I'd be way lower.
That's
but
true, yeah.
within the genre, I'd definitely give it a 9.
You may have noticed that that camera died a while ago, and we haven't cut back to that camera angle for quite some time.
Average score.
Average score. Average score. So that's it for this episode of Pleasantries. Thank you for stopping by. You don't have a tiny hand this time. That's awkward. It grew back. That's amazing.
Yeah, full size.
You have a fantastic evening. Or don't. Fuck you.